You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. So we're doing it. We're going to talk about the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County. Is Tamra the one to blame, or is Gretchen the one to blame? Who do you believe actually is behind what's been playing out on Real Housewives of Orange County season 19 finale? Do you believe Gretchen did actually like those posts, or do you think that this is a scheme that Tamra set up to come to us with the BS after having the information for about a year? As always, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the live chat, or be sure to vote how you would rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County. Let's get into it all. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to share this video. Be sure to subscribe to the Kempire podcast where you can hear our live recaps along with other special episodes as well. I know I really was on the fence whether or not I was going to do a recap of Real Housewives of Orange County, but so much exploded last night, both online and both on the show, when it comes to what really happened between the ladies and Gretchen and Tamra. Who's to blame? Even to the point where Tamra has changed her not her name, but she added, I guess, one of her jobs. Let me actually pull that up while we're doing this. She actually pulled it up. She actually okay, let me see. She actually put like cyber or something. I forgot what it was. I just want to pull it up. Let me see. Tamra. Cyber hacker. There we go. Cyber hacker is how she described herself now on Instagram. Okay. I have a lot of thoughts. They may not be popular, but you know I don't care about being popular. Never have, never will. This is my thoughts, my opinions. And you guys are free to have your thoughts and opinions in the chat or in the comment section, but don't attack other people for their opinions. Just say, you know what, this is what I believe, okay? We do not moderate adults here, but you will get blocked if you start attacking people or trolling people or fighting with people in the comment section or the live chat. Okay, mods, do your thing. So Real Housewives of Orange County was a terrible season. It was not their best season. If it comes to a point where who is very consistent and very dedicated, even when things aren't the best, where it comes to, I'm like, okay, I don't feel like recapping the show anymore. Like, this is stupid. You can see people working. You can see people trying to produce something. You can see people trying to cause an issue so that you can have conflict and resolution. We saw that in last week's episode. I briefly talked about it when I did my Braxton's recap. And I talked about, guys, I'm not doing a Real Housewives of Orange County recap. This is basically what happened. They were trying to make an issue last week. And I see them trying to make an issue this week between Shannon and the other ladies. And I was just like, okay. And Gretchen, I see what you're doing. Gretchen wants to return, clearly. As a friend, as a full-time housewife, she wants to return. Gretchen, it doesn't feel nice when the entire group turned their backs on you, did it? I wonder if now you have a little sympathy for Katie and how they turned their backs on her. And look, you know I'm not a Katie apologizer. However, it wasn't nice when all of them turned their backs on you. Literally in the same season, I'm like, oh, looky here. Karma is swift. And as Candace recently said about Ashley Darby, karma never misses. Clearly. Karma never misses. So, but here's the thing. Although I believe Gretchen is a liar and Slade's a liar as well, I don't think that totally absolves Tamra grudge. You've seen the trailer. Honestly, even the trailer did not get me excited about the end of the season. I don't know about anyone else. I watched it again and I was just like, I watched it at least like maybe 4 times already. And I'm just like, I'm not excited. Even the reunion set looks boring. They've had some really, they've set a new standard when it comes to the reunion set. Remember the reunion set like 2 reunions ago where it looked like they were out on the beach, but it really was a studio stage that they did that. And now I'm like, it's not a terrible set, but how do you go from that iconicness to this? Like, really? I don't know about that. But yeah. Before we get into this, I do want to say thank you to our friends over at Factor. As you know, I love a Factor meal. They make it easy, chef crafted, dietitian approved meals. They have a meal for everyone, but they got a bunch of new stuff too. So today's live recap of the Real Housewives of Orange County is brought to you by our friends over at Factor. Back here on the channel, fall always feels like a reset between back to school, busier routines, and shorter days. Finding time to cook can be tough. That's why I personally love Factor. Their chef-prepped, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic the season gets. And they have more variety and more meals. Choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. More importantly, we don't need any more costs, especially right now with everything happening in our country. Savor global flavors for the first time. Try Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors influenced by China and Thailand and more. From more choices to better nutrition, that's why 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. So feel the difference no matter your routine. And of course, I've got you covered with a discount. Eat smart at factormeals.com/Kempire50 off and use code Kempire50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code Kempire50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. More information on Factor will be available in the description. Thank you to Factor for sponsoring today's Real Housewives of Orange County recap. All right, let me take a sip, and while I'm doing that, make sure you like the video. I put together my concoction, okay? Lemony. And if you get it, you get it. I did lemon water, hot water, with chia seeds and lion's mane. That's my morning concoction. This is what wakes me up every day. Before I eat anything, do anything, this is what I have. Oh, I thought I had my Amsterdam Starbucks mug. No, this is my New York City one. Watching them be in Amsterdam, I love Amsterdam. I just was in Amsterdam. I love the city. I love the energy of the city. This time of year is not the best time to be in Amsterdam, even though it can be because it's fall, it's pretty, and the canals. But they're there during the summer, which is really ideal for if you're going to visit Amsterdam. So it was nice to kind of see some of the things. I've never done the maze. I didn't even know they even had the maze. But I also don't love doing the touristy things either. But I wouldn't do the swing. I feel like those are all really touristy, tourist trap things. You're going to see a bunch of tourists there, to swing over the city? No, I'm good. We have something similar here in New York City too. No, thank you. But to each their own, okay? We also think, too, for them, they're limited on where they can film and whatnot. And especially this is an international country, so they're traveling internationally. So it makes it a little even harder for them to get filming abilities in certain places. So fun for them. We're not going to be talking about any of those moments because I wish I had done the maze. I wouldn't have done the maze inebriated, but good for them. I thought the maze was really cool. That's something that I would have done with friends or something. I thought that was cool. Last week's episode, I'm trying to remember if there was nothing really worth talking about, to be honest with you, because I watched the episode. So it's not like I was just like, oh, I don't want to do it. No, I watched the episode and it's like, what am I going to talk about? Them trying to force an issue between Jen and Shannon? That's what last week's episode basically was. Them trying to force an issue between Jen and Shannon. Jen loves Shannon. I really do believe that. And yes, were they kiki and talking about how messy and funny Shannon can be in this episode? Yes. But I honestly did not take that conversation and be like, oh, I need to go have a conversation with Shannon. They were talking all kinds of things about her. They were being all kinds of shade. They were talking about how messy Shannon can be. They are being filmed. They know Shannon's going to see this. And I'm sure when Shannon saw it, she probably was like, she likes being kooky and funny for the group. But Gretchen going to Shannon later, I think this was Gretchen, again, what she's been doing all season, along with her her partner, her life partner. This is what they've been doing all season. They've been trying to create drama. And this is what I hate, because you guys try to create drama. You're not producers. You're not storytellers. You're not even good actors. So stop trying to produce anything and just have fun. Those are the best moments. But we see a lot of people do it, but some people just do it all the damn time. And that's what Gretchen is doing. And I have lots of thoughts on the whole Gretchen of it all. And I'll get there. But I'm trying to ease my way. All right. So they do a bunch of different touristy things. We're not going to talk about them. You know, they did the whole, make this and shop here and do all the things. For me, the heartwarming stuff that did make me go, oh, was when Heather was, because I felt like for the first time we were kind of getting to know a little bit more about Heather. Maybe not for the first time. I'm not an avid watcher of Orange County. But at least in the recent years since her return, we're getting to peel back some of the layers that is Heather Dubrow. First of all, not that I thought Heather grew up poor, but I didn't realize Heather really did, like, she's had this kind of life. Because when you see the home that her father had in Amsterdam, first of all, to have a home like that in Amsterdam today alone it's like living in New York City's Upper East Side. So she's always had a well-to-do life. Because I was like, oh, that was your home? You guys had garden party? I'm like, okay, Heather, like, you're about this life. Dr. Terry was on TikTok, and he's selling, I forgot they have a skincare line. I completely forgot. And he was selling products on TikTok. He was on there by himself. Honestly, I think people think Heather and Terry put on for the camera. What I saw on TikTok, that was not him putting on for the camera. I really feel like that is who he is, kooky. But he's a top. I remember, I like watching Dr. Terry on Botched. I haven't watched Botched in a while. But when it first came out, I really enjoyed Botched. And seeing Dr. Terry and Dr. Paul, talk about their expertise and them being the top doctors in their fields. So I say all that to say, anyway, back to this. So this scene I thought this was a sweet moment too between Heather and Emily, where they're talking in front of what was her father and mother's residence in Amsterdam, only for the actual new owner to come out. And I thought that was really sweet of him. Like, do you want to film inside? Do you want to come inside? I thought that was really nice. And it was really sweet. So she goes in and she remembers everything. She's looking around. First of all, he did a great job with the renovation. I would love to own a home in Amsterdam. There are some beautiful renovate, because a lot of the homes, they remind me of like brownstones in like Harlem or Brooklyn, but they're not really brownstones. But the way that they're set up, they remind me of literally. Maybe I guess they would probably be considered brownstones. Maybe just the way that they're built is not the same. But to me, they remind me very much of brownstones, and some of them are newly renovated and beautiful. I remember when I went to Amsterdam, one of the times that I've been to Amsterdam, and I stayed at a Airbnb that was sort of like in the central part of Amsterdam, and they renovated their home. Like, they live on like the main floor, and then they have apartments that they've turned into Airbnbs. Like, it's hard to even get an Airbnb with them now. I've tried so many times after that time because I loved it, because it was like a beautiful, like, it was like your own little apartment. It was really, really nice. I mean, they're small, but no, it wasn't that. I mean, it was small in comparison to what you're used to, depending on what part of the country you live. But it was really nice. And I was like, oh, this is really, really, really beautiful how you're able to kind of renovate these and make them more modern. The stairs in traditional Dutch stairs, no matter how new the construction is, they're always going to make their stairs the way they're going to be. And it's very small. And I remember having luggage. Luckily, shout out to the hosts of the Airbnb, because they didn't have an elevator in this particular building. But they carried my luggage up, and I had heavy luggage because I didn't realize, I got to go up these small stairs with my luggage. So they were very, very helpful in getting the luggage up there. I appreciate that. Anyway, I've digressed. So Emily and Heather get to go in, and she tries to FaceTime her mother, but the time difference probably is why the mother did not pick up. And she's just recollecting on her father's life there and her relationship with her father. And she talked about her father earlier in the season, about how Tamra reminds her of her father because he would just kind of go off the handle at any given moment. And she recollects on how they both had like this mole in their ear. And he says, anytime you need to be reminded of me, look at that, because they both have it. And I thought it was a sweet moment. So she has the ashes with her after going into the home and seeing what the home looks like and having those feels. She goes out with Emily to the canal, and she has a moment, and she talks to her father, and she pours the ashes. Honestly, I want to be cremated, and whoever's in charge of my ashes, maybe the billionaire, better bring some of those ashes to Amsterdam. Because I've had so many moments in Amsterdam. I feel like, that feels like the right place to at least spread some of them. Spread some of my ashes there, okay? All right. But I thought that was a sweet moment. One of the sweeter moments in the episode, okay? Okay. I'm trying to remember everything. I didn't take notes because I didn't feel like it was worth taking notes. There were so many moments that I was just like, Okay. In regards to like Jen and what's going on with Jen is still figuring out her purpose in this world. I don't know if Jen should have jumped into a whole nother relationship with someone after her ex-husband. I know basically the timeline of her relationship with Ryan and the ex sort of overlaps. However, I think she should have spent some time just really not being single, but necessarily, I think she should have just spent time at least being on her own. But I don't think she could afford to be on her own at that particular time. She would have been destitute. She was in owing money to her landlord. I don't know. She might still owe the money to the landlord. So I feel like she did rush everything with Ryan. She got engaged to Ryan. She moved in with Ryan. Ryan's paying for this. Ryan's very much involved. They seem to be happy, but Gina was talking about how when I go to your Instagram, I feel like I'm following Ryan. And Gina pointed out during this trip, I was so proud to see that you posted a video this morning of her. She posted like a workout on her own. Jen definitely lacks her own voice. Hence why I believe she was led astray by following. She's very similar to Angel on the sinking ship that is Kiarna. Jen is on the sinking ship that is Gretchen. And luckily, one thing I will give Jen, though, she does have relationships with the other women. So even when Gretchen's not there next season, and Gretchen should not be there next season, I don't think she will be. Even Andy's when he was on Call Her Daddy, we did a recap of that if you missed it here on the channel. He mentioned this 15-year-old beef. And even he seemed like he cleaned it up and made it seem like, okay, it's relevant. We're going to talk about it. But even he seemed over this 15-year-old beef. But all of you were so excited. I'm pointing out because I remember all of you were so excited about Gretchen coming on the show. And I was like, okay, guys, you guys seem like she's going to be the one to hold Tamra accountable, to really come for Tamra. And she hasn't. She hasn't. She has not changed my stance on Tamra. But you already know how I feel about Tamra. But I feel like I feel like Gretchen didn't prove anything this season. I feel like, if anything, Tamra got her multiple times. And that's part of the reason why I do believe that Tamra was sitting on this information for the last year. And I agree with Shannon, because Shannon's not playing these reindeer games with Tamra, because she's like, I don't like the fact that Gretchen may have liked these posts, but when did you know about this? And why wouldn't you tell us about this? Because if there's someone, especially Heather should be mad at Tamra. You've known about this for a year. You didn't tell me. And this woman is in my home. This woman's around my children. This woman's in my life. And you know how important LGBTQ plus communities are to me. Wouldn't you be upset with your friend that didn't tell you about this? Like, there's this aspect. I believe Gretchen liked the post, y'all. And some of you have found the receipts like, oh, no, she didn't. Because I wouldn't be shocked that maybe she unliked the post, or her reaction. And I know everyone reacts to things very differently. but her reaction was quite telling. Because if you accused me of liking posts, especially if Tamra's the one behind it, I would like, first of all, y'all gonna have to prove that I actually like this. If it was one post that she had liked, okay. But no, they're saying there were multiple posts. So I believe, Gretchen, you do like posts that are problematic. Let's say that. Because people have said things about you, even before this, that they don't like Gretchen because they know that there's certain things about her that don't align with their values. So I'm not completely surprised by this. I'm just surprised at her response. Her response was quite telling because her response, I don't need her to scream and be emphatic like, oh, I did not do that. She could have been cool, calm, and collected and be like, I did not. If it was one post, okay, maybe I accidentally liked a post. But they're saying it was multiple posts. And then for this group to turn on her in that moment, but then the next day on the way to the airport, we did some digging and we couldn't find anything in regards to her liking those posts. And so now I feel bad. And now they're turning on Tamra. First of all, two things can be true at the same time. Tamra is calculated, mean-spirited. She's a cancer to the group. Because I have to say, after watching this episode, I'm like, Gretchen's not going to come back, but I really do not believe that Tamra should come back either. I do believe she's the Lisa Rinna of this group. I do believe she's the cancer of this group. I don't care what anyone wants to say, oh no, she's the reason why. No, you still had a lackluster season. This is probably one of their worst seasons, and Tamra was a part of the group. I don't know who's falling for Tamra's antics. I'm not. And Tamra, I see you unfollowed me. She used to follow me. I remember randomly, why is Tamra following me? That's weird. So she unfollowed me. I just noticed now because again, I don't follow her and I don't go to her page. But I wanted to go and find what she had wrote in her profile. Anyway. So basically we could talk about that. Because there was nothing else in this episode I felt worth talking about. So they sit down. Okay, wait. I did bring up and talk about at the table, Gretchen goes to Shannon. Well, Gretchen a few hours before. This is when he had a dinner at the seafood place. And she brings up the fact that the group was talking about Shannon and her Spanx and that no man's ever going to want her because she's in those Spanx and blah, 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 blah. So Gretchen is the one to bring that news to her. And Shannon brings it up. And Emily has to shut her down. She's like, shut up, Gretchen. And I like how Emily handled it. She was like, if I hurt you, I apologize. That was not my intention. The initial conversation that we were having was how funny you are. Then it led into, but them saying that they weren't really just talking about, it was a general conversation. No, it was a conversation about Shannon, period. I wish they would have just owned that. But I agree. I didn't take that conversation like, oh my God, they're talking so nasty about Shannon. And the fact that Gretchen decided to run to go tell Shannon that because she felt so guilty about it. Girl, you're trying to produce something. You're trying to produce drama. Save it. All right, now let's get to the other dinner where their last dinner in Amsterdam. And randomly Gina, Gina also produces, like we always see Gina, well, guys, I want to talk about this. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. It's giving very Ashley. We see a lot of these housewives doing it. And I think it's because production doesn't make the cast changes that they probably should make when it comes time. Because if you have to come into a season and the housewives have to produce something, it says to me that you're not doing your due diligence before the season starts, before you start planning the new season. And I know they are asking the housewives, so what's going on with you? Like, what's the story? What's happening? You're not doing your due diligence. And what played out this season is an example of you not doing your due diligence when it comes to what is what are we going to talk about this season? And I know, look, you can only plan so much, but there was no plan here. And Tamra, if you want to have a successful season 20, Tamra can't not be a part. Tamra I don't know how many times Tamra, first of all, quit this season. I don't know how many times Tamra, every time she had pieces of information and she was giving it to the group to start trouble, she's like, oh, I got it from iHeart. iHeart gave it to me because she has a podcast with iHeart. I don't believe that iHeart gave her anything. She's using them as an excuse. She's using this podcast as an excuse. Honestly, if you are a housewife on a show right now, you should not be able to have a podcast talking about the show. And I know she doesn't talk about OC while she's on there, but no, during the season, well, iHeart gave me this piece of information. You know, we've got whatever. Look, whatever. Choose one, because at the end of the day, yes, this check on OC is a bigger check for her probably than the podcast, but her podcast is quite successful. I don't listen to it, but it is quite successful. I can't listen to Tamra or Teddy Mellencamp, okay? I'm glad that Teddy's doing better health-wise, though, so that's amazing. Sidebar, when Tamra is making a toast and she's like, I want to make a toast, and then she starts to get emotional, it's so forced and fake. Am I the only one not seeing through the BS? I'm like, she starts, I've had a tough year, and Heather, you were there for me. They know this is going to probably be the season finale, so they're performing. Just like, I just want to say, like, this has been a really tough year for me. A tough year for you? Girl, save me on that, because people still believe, along with me, that this whole you weaponizing your friend's cancer for the reason for your bad behavior. I believe that's exactly what you did. And that's gross. And that says to me a lot about your character. A lot about your character. That you have none. You don't have character. And people with character or nothing to lose are dangerous people to have on reality television. And I've been saying that about Tamra Grudge for a long time. She's a dangerous person to have on reality television because nothing is offline when it comes to off the table, I should say, when it comes to what she will do on this show. That is a dangerous person to have on the show. But, look, mark what I've just said and see if they bring her back next season and if she crosses the line again. So, at the table, Gina's the one to bring up, I found out, Gretchen, that you liked a bunch of posts that were anti-LGBTQ+. And Gretchen's just like, I did? Well, maybe accidentally. I like a lot of different posts. And look, I would give her grace. I'm sure there were posts that I probably accidentally liked just swiping. We have touch screens. I remember if I've caught it, I've scrolled through things and I've accidentally saved things or liked things. Or sometimes you see a picture that's it's a beautiful picture. And you don't even know what they're saying in the caption. And you want to like. So that's why I'm like, let me not like everything. Let me read the caption. What does the caption say? So I would give her grace. But they said it was multiple anti-LGBTQ posts. It wasn't just one post. If it was one post, I'd be like, okay, maybe. But they start showing it to her. And her response was very flat affect. And it's not like you're just being blindsided. Because you're not new to Housewives. In this particular moment, you could literally okay, if it was one post, okay, I could have accidentally liked it. But multiple anti-LGBT, and for those that want to say, oh, she has friends that are part of the community, that's like saying, oh, but I have a black friend, so I can't be racist. No, I don't care. I don't care if you have LGBTQ friends. I don't care if you threw a drag brunch, okay? That doesn't mean anything. What are your actions saying? Your response was weird, Gretchen. Your response did not give to me. And again, everyone reacts differently. I understand it. They were saying that in the after show. Shannon was like, I want to give her grace because that's not who I know Gretchen to be. But you don't know Gretchen, apparently. And I don't believe that these housewives are really friends like that offline. But Gretchen and Gretchen and Heather seem to be friendly. So I can understand why Heather feels because Heather really is an ally when it comes to this, because she has a queer child. And she gets really upset in this moment when she's like, She's like, why aren't you mortified? I think her response, Gretchen's response, made everyone go like, but then I'm also still looking at Heather like, your next day response, now all of a sudden it's different. It was multiple posts. So I don't know if Gretchen got her hands on those posts, but it was multiple posts that Gretchen apparently had liked. And they tried to go back and find it and see if she had liked it, and they couldn't find it. Gretchen's response told me everything that I needed to know. And after she spoke to Slade, because she gets upset, she goes to call Slade about it. And he's like, well, that's not who you are. Then all of a sudden we see this big emotional reaction from Gretchen. Two things can be true. Because the next day, when they're on their way to the airport and they said they couldn't find that she had liked those posts, now everyone's turning on Tamra. Two things can be true. First of all, at the table the day before, when this is all exposed, Shannon says, like, when did you find out about this? And she was like, oh, like a year ago. And she's like, a year ago? And Tamra's like, what? You're going to be mad at me because I found this? You should be mad at her for what she did. Two things can be true. Why would you allow your friends to be around someone, especially Heather, who's supposed to be close with you? Why wouldn't you tell Heather about this? Because, look, I believe Gretchen did like those posts. But why would Tamra hold on to that information and allow you to be around someone that could be harmful to your child? Yeah. I find I wouldn't want to be around someone like Gretchen. And if I was friends with these women and you never told me that, I'm like, why didn't you tell me that? Why didn't you show this to me? Because then at least then I could do my due diligence, or I could confront her myself. But no, you sat on this to weaponize it against her in this moment, which is fine because it needed to be exposed. But I'm still looking at you like, oh, you're sitting on this information intentionally. But okay, Tamra is the cancer of the group. Gretchen should be gone too next season. She had a terrible season. Her season was just as bad, if not worse, than Alexis. I don't know. Alexis was pretty bad, but it was bad. I don't see anything redeeming of why to bring Gretchen back. And if anything, I don't need Gretchen and Jen together. Bring Jen back. I think Jen still has a lot of potential, but she's just going to be finding ways to help her friend, Gretchen. And I think the only reason why Jen had Gretchen's back was because she literally reached out to Gretchen to come back on the show and have her back. And so now she feels a loyalty to Gretchen. And we don't need to see that. Honestly, we barely saw Katie this second half of the season. Didn't miss her. I know some of you were like, oh my God, Katie was gone. That's why it sucked. No, it sucked when she was there too. Barely heard her in the reunion. We heard one thing from her during the reunion. I feel like she probably has a lackluster reunion as well. I don't see her coming back next season. I actually do see a cast shakeup for season 20. Do I see them taking off a year? No, but I don't see them rushing into season 20. I think they want to get season 20 right. Because this is the OG city of the Real Housewives franchise. I think they want season 20 to be epic. I definitely think Heather's coming back. I definitely think that Gina and Emily are going to come back. I definitely think Shannon might come back. Do I think she should? I mean, we really didn't have a lot with Shannon this season, if we're going to be honest. But again, I've always said this too. You don't need a storyline if you are a good personality. And Shannon's kooky. You know, when Jen looked at her, she was like, I'm into you. I get it. I said this about Shannon for a very long time. I don't love everything about Shannon, especially when she was drinking and driving. But there's a cute kookiness, there's a motherliness, there's a grandma-ness to her, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. There's a funniness to her. I don't necessarily mind that because I don't think they're going to shake up this cast like they did Roni. So they're going to keep a large amount of the cast. But Tamra, I know people want to say, oh, but she keeps saying, no, she doesn't keep things moving. She's the toxicity in this group. So as they're unpacking and they're, confronting Gretchen on these posts. Again, Gretchen's reaction, I believe she actually liked the post. because I don't need you to scream and yell at me for me to understand clearly that you're confused by this. Like, now, I would have never liked all of these posts. If it was one post, I could see the confusion. Because when I rewatched it, I was like, was it one post? Because if it was one post, then I could be like, okay, because she could have accidentally liked. She could have accidentally, look, I'm frozen. Please hold. She could have accidentally, I'm keeping my fourth wall in. She could have accidentally liked one post. However, it was multiple posts, they said. There was like a whole thread of posts. So her reaction to me was, I was like, no, she definitely liked the post. Or she knows she likes some of these posts and she's been caught out there. But again, I don't think this completely frees Tamra of any culpability here, because you sat on this information for a year. It's not like you sat on it for a few weeks or even a couple of months. You sat on this for a year. A year. And you're supposedly close with Heather? And Heather has a queer child? Okay. But I don't think enough people will be talking about that. Will be talking about, oh yeah, Gretchen did this, da 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 da. So you saw the trailer. You saw the trailer for the reunion, and apparently Gretchen must have had someone do a analysis of social media and look up all the things when it comes to this. Gretchen, you like the post. I don't care who you got. Okay. However, before they end in Amsterdam. They end the season in Amsterdam, but then of course, a few months before the premiere episode of Real Housewives of Orange County, some of the ladies come together because they've gotten DMs from a fan, I guess. I don't know if it's a blogger. They disguised his or her voice because it was a disguise, so I assumed it was a guy. And I know some people are speculating, oh, I bet it's Slade. But some of the information that this person had were solo scenes with like Heather and Tamra, or Tamra and someone else. And the only people that kind of know that schedule, unless it was told to Gretchen later, like, oh yeah, she had a scene with this particular person, which is possible because they end up talking about this stuff later. But I implore people to keep that in mind, that it could possibly still be Tamra. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's Tamra. If Tamra is sitting on information for a year, you're not telling me that Tamra is not in cahoots with the blogs. And I know you guys, especially this season of OC, are tired of the infiltration of bloggers on this show. And so many people said a lot of these housewives talk to bloggers or in the cahoots with bloggers. I don't know why they would be, because these bloggers do not have any loyalty to these housewives. So I wouldn't be surprised that this blogger or fan is turning on Tamra like, oh, she told me all these specific details. So they're sitting on the phone with this blogger, or I don't know. Again, I don't know if it was a blogger or a fan, and he's telling them all the things that have not even played out yet during the season of Orange County. And he's like, oh, this person did this, and Tamra had a meeting with this, and then you guys went to this, and Tamra quit then. I believe Tamra literally was fishing information to bloggers. Hence why when she followed me randomly, was it last year or maybe the year before? I was like, why is Tamra following me? And I don't really recap Orange County like that. I recap it here on YouTube, and once in a while I'll talk about it on Instagram and TikTok. But I don't really recap it. So I thought it was interesting that she followed me. But I always tell you, sometimes these housewives follow you because, they expect you to be like, oh my God, this housewife followed me. And then they end up following them back. And then you're like, oh, hey. No. Why are you following me? Keep watching. Mm-mm. Keep watching. Anyway, so I believe that Tamra was fishing this information to the blogs or bloggers. I don't know if I believe Gretchen's, she did an analysis of these different accounts and they all are tied back to Tamra. I don't know about that, because very much like what the other ladies have been saying about Tamra and Gretchen's relationship, they are very much alike in a lot of ways. I think Gretchen has a sweeter demeanor that Tamra does not have, but I do believe that they're both, assassins from the side, basically. I do believe that they both have a dark spirit. Because again, I believe Gretchen liked those posts. And I don't care whatever concoction that can you imagine the preparation that Slade and Gretchen did for this reunion? Can you imagine? They are so pitiful. They are pitiful, sad that he's not working. This is what they've come to in regards to coming back on this show, trying to create drama, trying to secure her orange. And I think that's what they were trying to do with Katie. They were trying to get Katie pushed out so that, and I believe all the other ladies too wanted to get Gretchen an orange. I'm glad that she won't have an orange. I'm glad they made her a friend of. I'm glad that she won't be back next season. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm just saying I don't think she will be. This was a lackluster season. What is she going to be arguing about next season? Especially if I get my way and Tamra doesn't come back next season. Who are you fighting with next season? Who are your issues with next season? Katie? Katie shouldn't come back either next season. I don't want to see Katie back next season either. Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. So the end of Real Housewives of Orange County season 19 ends with the women. Who was there? Shannon was there, Jen was there, and Gina was there. Was Emily there? I can't remember if Emily was there. And they are talking to this person, and he's basically lining up every single thing that's been playing out during the season, but the season hasn't aired yet. So they're like, how does he know this? So some people are speculating, oh, it's probably Slade. Slade is the one who gave the information. But some of the scenes, as I said to you before, again, these housewives don't see all the episodes. They get the episode right before the episode airs. They'll get it like a few days before. So it makes me wonder, like, it's not Gretchen. I do believe that's the thing. There's no one likable on this cast. There's not one person that's likable on this cast. You know who's likable? Archie. Archie and his new playmate. Those are the only two likable people. But Shannon makes me laugh here and there. But even Shannon during the early parts of the season was not likable. She was actually really annoying. Okay, especially her beef with Katie. Like, oh, I'm done with you. I'm never going to talk to you again. You were recording. I don't think she should have recorded Shannon. However, her reaction was so over the top and comparing her to Alexis and all that. I was like, really? So this season, from the beginning till now, has not been great. Has not been great. And I don't believe it's just one person to blame. There are a lot of people to blame. Because even his international trip, I'm like, this was okay. It was okay. There were some sweet little moments. One of the things that I will say in regards to this season, if we're going to recap the season, that stood out to me, and I feel like we had that moment with Jen when they were in the park, and Tamra was actually having a heartfelt moment, and she was talking about her insecurities about getting older and marrying Ryan because he used to be a playboy, blah, blah, blah. We've had at least two other moments besides that moment where I felt like the women, there was like a sisterhood. And remember when they rallied around Shannon's daughter because of her recent breakup? There were a few moments during the season that I felt like, oh, this was actually like a nice moment. But a moment does not make a season. A moment does not make an episode. Sometimes a moment can make an episode. But where women come together and they talk about, I've been through divorce, I've been through a breakup, I've been through cheating, I've been through this, and look how far I've come. I'm getting older. This is where I am right now. So, and there are a lot of women that have gone through this and that are watching this show and being inspired, like, oh, wow, there are other people that have gone through something similar. So, if anything, those moments during the season, I appreciated and enjoyed. The mean girl mentality, the icing out, we literally saw them do that to Katie, and then we see them do that immediately. I wasn't prepared for this as well. They were like, I believe there's another car for you, Gretchen. And Gretchen was just like, what? Yeah, the same thing that they did to Katie, they're doing to you. Karma's swift. Karma is definitely swift. Guys, if you're just joining us, don't forget to like the video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Orange County, season 19 finale, the reunion. I think it's going to be 3 parts. Oh, I can't remember what Andy said at the beginning, because normally that's when you say part of the 3-part reunion. It does not need to be 3 parts, but I'm sure it will be. We did go over the reunion looks for those that may have missed it. I forgot where we talked about it. We did like a separate live. There are timestamps. So we did go over the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion looks. Honestly, Gina was the best dressed. She said that it was probably like the hardest dress that she's had to wear in regards to, I guess she wasn't very comfortable in it. Oh, but she looked gorgeous. She was the best dressed. I think Katie looked really good. Everyone else looked okay for the most part. Yeah, I was surprised for the most part that, people, Orange County, I don't really get excited about the reunion looks. But for me, Gina was the best dressed. I love the color on her. I love the dress. She looked great. I love the hair and makeup on her. Katie looked great as well. The reunion trailer, though, did not get me excited. I was just like, oh, we gotta really, for season 20, you really got to bring it, not just for Orange County, but for the Real Housewives franchise. Like, this is the OG of all of these shows. This is a pinnacle season. This is 20 years of Real Housewives. But I guess we'll have to wait and see, because I know so many fans are like, oh, they need to reboot. I don't think they're going to reboot. The Roni reboot was a test. It didn't work out. They're rebooting the reboot. So we will have to wait and see what season 20 will look like. Production, I know you watch. I mean, they do. Production, take your time. There is no need to rush to put out season 20 of Orange County next season. Take your time. Because what the reunion airs now, typically they probably start filming after the holidays, probably after the holidays. I mean, or maybe not. Maybe they'll start filming next month. But no, there is no need to rush. Wait till the new year. Let's figure out where to go from here. I don't think Tamra is the way to go. Katie, that ship has sailed. We didn't even miss her at the end of the season. Gretchen, definitely do not return. Return to sender. Okay, to Jen. Jen brought her. I'm not going to miss Tamra. But I've been saying that about Tamra. I've been saying that I feel like Tamra is the cancer of the group. But so many of you are like, oh, bring Tamra back. She's a force multiplier. No, she's not. She's a cancer in the group. And only people that would think that, in regards to her being a force multiplier, are producers. people, puppeteers that like to do stuff like that. No. How about we find real personalities that are fresh, new, something like with Jen. For the most part, besides what we've seen of Jen this season, she was a nice, new, fresh personality. But she's one particular personality. It's like the Cynthia Bailey of that group, which you need. You need someone that's level-headed. You need someone that's sweet, that has personal story. She really is like a Cynthia Bailey. Because remember, Cynthia had all that drama. Even though she was very sweet and very even-keeled personality, but she has so much drama around her. That is Jen. I think now you need someone that's going to be able to come in. Again, I get why they're going to keep Heather. Heather, though, is not going to buy another home in Orange County. She had a $5.8 million loss on that home. They got it, though. They got it. They made how much of a profit from the other home that they sold in Orange County. So they got it. They'll make it up in some other way. I'm sure Heather's being paid like $1 million more on this show. It will be interesting to see what they decide to do for season 20. I'm not that excited, but again, Orange County has never been my city. I don't know Orange County chapter and verse. Like I've watched every other city chapter and verse, but Orange County was never my into Real Housewives. That was New York, that was New Jersey, that was Atlanta, et cetera, et cetera. I've even watched Dallas from beginning to end. And I know Orange County's probably had some really good seasons, especially in the early years, because they were the blueprint. So they had no one else to compare themselves to, so they just did what they did. I can't. I just, it was never my in. And maybe because it's where it's located, it's, it's not relatable to me. I loved New Jersey. I loved New York. And then, of course, Atlanta, Black. So there's something I can connect to. But here we are. You guys asked me to recap it, and now I hate you. Now play. Sorry. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. Be sure to vote in our live chat poll to let us know how you would rate the season finale of The Real Housewives of Orange County. And if you are enjoying my skincare routine, get 10% off of butter products. In the description, there will be a link, but the discount code is Kempire10 for 10% off. More information on that, more information on Factor, more information on our merch will be available in the description notes. And if you're listening to this, make sure you subscribe to the Kempire podcast and make sure you give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Happy Halloween. Forgot to mention that. It is Halloween, and then tomorrow, bills are due. Okay, bills are due tomorrow because tomorrow is November 1st. So make sure you pay your bills. Just a reminder. And continue to pray for Jamaica. And I will post in the live chat and in the description an official place where you guys can help Jamaica in regards to donations and things like that. Because I know there's a lot of scammers out there as well. And shout out to Bethany Frankel. I don't love everything Bethany, but I think her greatest legacy, and I've said this before, will be good. Her charity where she is on the ground and she's helping out with the natural disasters. She posted a video. Matter of fact, I'm going to actually play the audio for you guys. I can't play the video, but I'll play the audio. I love what she said in this video, and she shows you what they're doing for Jamaica right now. And I said this is going to be her greatest legacy be strong, not be good. That's Beyonce. Yeah, be strong. But I feel like her greatest legacy will be her work as a philanthropist. Let me play this for you guys. Hold on. Let's do this.
Warehouse and tell you guys what we're doing for Jamaica. Okay, so here we are.
And she says in the caption, 100% of Be Strong donations go straight to cash cards, empowering survivors to rebuild their lives with dignity. Thank you to the incredible brands that have donated every product you see, and for supporting the global empowerment mission on the ground. So you can find out more information at bethany.com/be strong to donate. So I'll be making my donation. I hope that you guys as well. I'll post a link in the description as well, but take a listen. She actually takes you inside. You can watch this on her Instagram. She actually takes you inside to the warehouse that she has.
And we've done this with you guys before, but anyway, these are all of our missions. Some of them I've been on, but basically, yeah, this is definitely one that I was on. So this is the warehouse, and this is where the assembly line usually.
And she's got a ton of volunteers that are there putting together different, just relief. And important relief. It's not just food. She's talking about like a bunch of different things.
Is set up.
We have distributed 420 million meals.
Wow.
Crazy. That's insane.
You just say 420 million meals? Wow.
We started out, we were in a small little warehouse that was empty. Now those are boxes that get filled up. So each home at like phase 0, when they need hydration and blankets and chargers and things like that, that's what goes there. So look, like Avon has donated, and so have dog companies, and this is a hair care brand, and like you've got everything you could need for every aspect of life. There's nothing we don't have here. Pet essentials, like kids' toys. There you go. There's like tech. It's endless. Mattresses are going to be huge. Comforters, blankets. This is that assembly line that we created. So these amazing volunteers who.
And for those that will be in the comment section saying, "Oh, why do you have to show what you're doing?" She's promoting so that people can continue to donate, because something that she says at the end of the video is important.
Look, it's ramen, it's hydration, it's wipes, it's pets, it's all the things, okay? Very proud mama. So all of this aid is gonna go here. This container leaves tomorrow, and the planes will be there when?
planes leave tomorrow, the containers leave today. The containers arrive Tuesday, and planes every single day until the containers start arriving starting tomorrow.
How many pounds of aid will we be sending as of now?
Send 10 million.
It's a huge warehouse, guys. Again, I implore you to go to her Instagram. You can see it's a huge warehouse. I didn't realize that she had this warehouse where I know she had the organization because every time there's a disaster, she is doing something.
$1 worth of products in the next couple of months.
A reminder that we will be there long after the headlines fade. Now everyone's talking about it, but like we hit the ground running quickly to get people to donate because people will forget about it. It won't.
So that's why she's doing this video, is so that people will donate now, because she's saying that they will continue to provide relief in places like Jamaica after the headlines fade and people are not talking about Jamaica.
Be cool in 2 weeks to talk about Jamaica, which is sad, but he'll still be there rebuilding homes. Let's go.
That's amazing. Again, you can head on over to bethany.com/be strong. I will post a link in the description of this video and the episode notes of the podcast, along with the other official website for Jamaica for those that would like to help. We will continue to pray for Jamaica. We'll pray for Haiti because they also were affected by this hurricane. We're praying for Cuba as well. We're going to continue to provide you guys with information on how you can help others as well. Speaking of helping others, thank you to every single person that donated to our Breast Cancer Awareness Month fundraiser that we did here on the channel. We reached our goal of over $3,000. Then we set a new goal for $3,500. So as of today, we've already reached over $3,600. 100% of your donation goes to Black women's health imperative. As you know, the mortality rate when it comes to breast cancer affects Black women more than any other group affects Black women. So shout out to Black Women's Health Imperative. 100% of your donation of over $3,600 will be going to the organization, but we can still raise some more. So if you're watching this video, you'll be able to donate somewhere along here or below the video. Thank you to everyone that donated. Thank you to everyone that shared what we were doing here with your friends and family and coworkers and things like that. We appreciate it. Thank you to all of you for your donations. Thank you to everyone that will be helping Jamaica as well, that have sent prayers, because I also understand, especially in America, with everything that we're going through, there are about to be people that lose their SNAP benefits starting tomorrow, unfortunately, with everything happening in the country. So I understand that not everyone can give, but if you can, please do. But if what we all can do that's free is to continue to pray for those that are affected by what's happening in Jamaica and in the Caribbean, but also what's happening in the Sudan, what's happening in Palestine. We can all do a little something. I understand we are all trying to get by, but we all can do a little something, and that little something sometimes can just be prayer. First of all, thank you all for being here. I hope you guys had a fantastic Halloween or are having a fantastic Halloween. Let's continue this conversation on the Real Housewives of Orange County in the description. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. Be sure to share the video. And if you're listening to the audio, if you haven't already, be sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Let's continue this conversation in the comment section. Thank you all for being here. See you all in the next one. Bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Don't forget to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. For more information on the podcast, head on over to KempireRadio.com.